Howdy friends, Steve DePaul here for the Rose Realty team with this week's real estate vlog. Today we're going to talk about financial assistance for buying a home, specifically geared or tilted towards first-time home buyers. But this is something that we can all kind of learn from and maybe benefit from in the future. So let's get started. So the question is, so what's holding you back? What's holding us back from buying a home or that next home? Well, the National Association of Realtors did a survey, I think it was late last year, early this year, and said that limited income, student loans, car loans, and credit card debt were the four big things that were holding people back from either upscaling and buying a bigger house or buying that first-time home. So, oh, by the way, most of these, if not all of the statistics I'm going to cite in this this week's vlog come from the National Association of Realtors. So, just want to let you know that. So, interesting factoid is that 32% of all first-time homebuyers receive some kind of financial help. Now, that could be from a family member or a friend, a grant program. Texas has some great, still has some great programs for first-time and second-time homebuyers. We'll get to that. We'll get to that towards the end. So over the last 30 years, okay, 16% of all buyers across the board received some type of financial help. On average, they put down around 20% down on a home, and first-time home buyers put down around 10%, while people who bought their second or third home, repeat buyers, put down around 23%, which makes sense, right? So once you get into your first home, you start to build up equity, you start to build up family wealth, right? And then so when you go for your second home, you sell your first one and go into your second one, you have equity built up and you have more money built up then to put down on that second home. Hopefully then at that point, you're also making more money and you've got a little bit of a savings account, and so you're able to put down more money on that second home. 27% of all first-time home buyers had some type of financial help over the last 30 years. It peaked in 2000, where 36% of first-time home buyers had help, and since 2000, between 29 and 33% of first-time home buyers had some type of help. Okay, so hey, you're not alone out there. If you think I'm afraid, I need help. Hey, you're not alone out there. Everybody needs help, and a large percentage, close to a third, right, of first-time homebuyers are seeking some type of financial help. Now, what are the down payment difficulties? Well, around 26% of first-time homebuyers had some type of difficulty getting down payment funding or getting down payment assistance, for that first home. Repeat buyers had about 7% of those repeat buyers had some type of down payment difficulty, and overall it's about 13% had some sort of difficulty getting that down payment. So what are some of the issues that buyers are facing? Well, student loans. We've heard a lot about the crushing student loan debt. Okay, credit cards and car loans. Or three of the things we also mentioned. Limited income is one of the items, right? 35% of all first-time home buyers expected that they needed somewhere between 16 and 20% down to buy a home. So they were kind of had some of their facts together. They kind of had an understanding of it, but they didn't have all the facts, and they didn't know all the details. Something that the Rose Realty team could actually help them with, should they decide to go down that path. Now, in 2020, now this is actually before the pandemic and the COVID-19 thing hit. NAR, National Association of Realtors, did a survey, and they said that 21% of buyers expected to need somewhere between 6 and 10% down. This is buyers across the board. About 11% thought they needed between 0 and 5%. And around 19% just didn't have a clue, wasn't sure about how much they needed down. Again, this is something that the Rose Realty team, with our great lenders that we work with, could help you can help you understand, exactly how much you need. So who gets the help and where do they get the help from? Well, around 34% of consumers throughout the United States said they helped some type of child or family member with some type of assistance in buying a home. This is financial assistance, okay? So that's either maybe co-signing or a down payment assistance, something like that. 20%, 21% of all homeowners had some sort of down payment assistance, and 24% of millennials needed some sort of assistance or down payment assistance when buying a home, which only makes sense because what we're hearing now is that this millennial group has the largest student loan debt, and so would be they number one would have the most difficulty in being able to afford down payment, and where do they find it since they're paying off student loans, right? So what are some of the issues? Limited income, for example. 32% of all first-time home buyers and 40% of millennials cited limited income as their problem or the issue with buying a home. Now, millennials are kind of hardest hit right now because they are subject to rising rents, rising healthcare costs, student loans, and childcare. Now, the rising rents are something that really gets to me, because when you're paying rent, whether you're paying rent to an individual because you're renting a home or you have an apartment, every time you pay rent, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. You're just putting money in their pocket to pay their mortgage. That just ain't right. So that's the one thing that really gets me. At the same time as their rents are rising, right, they have fewer and fewer opportunities to keep some of that money and put some of that money away to afford a down payment, or to get down payment assistance. And that's why, millennials need that, are the most right now, need that 40% of millennials need that down payment assistance and need help buying that first home because of that sort of double or triple whammy that they got going on, specifically with rising rents. It's a shame because, again, when you're paying rent, you're paying somebody else's mortgage, which is just, like I said, it just ain't right. So realtors, what have realtors faced over the last 5 years? Here's a really good question, right? So 82% of the clients that came to realtors over the last 5 years had some sort of down payment assistance. So look, millennials and first-time home buyers, you're not alone. 82% of all buyers out there needed some sort of financial assistance. 70% were up on what the closing costs were all about and how much closing costs would be. About 65% had some type of down payment assistance. 22% had no assistance whatsoever, and probably a lot of these are were probably repeat buyers. Okay. And about 14% had no knowledge of the system and didn't have an understanding of what it was all about. So I want to give a little plug for next week's real estate vlog. We're going to go through the home buying process. Okay. So if you know of a first-time home buyer or somebody who maybe hasn't bought a home in maybe the last 15 years or so, the home buying process has changed. And for you first-time home buyers, it's going to be like a revelation to you. And so next week, we're going to talk about the home buying process. So a little update about that, right? So let's do a summary here. So where can first-time home buyers or any of us really get funding for a home? Well, family, relatives, and friends can gift them the money. We're going to get to that in just a second. Texas State has some really wonderful programs for loan assistance. These are for first-time home buyers, for teachers, for first responders, for doctors. I mean, the state of Texas has some really excellent programs out there to help these groups with either down payment assistance or loan programs. You have to know who to talk to, and the Rose Realty team is connected with a lot of the best mortgage people in the business, and they can help find the loan program that's best for you. There's also zero and low down payment loan programs out there. Credit unions and banks can help you either with down payment assistance or with loan programs. You can tap into your 401k. You can look for grants. There are grants out there for specific groups, whether it's income groups or professional groups. There are grants out there for all kinds of different professional groups out there to help you with grant money or down payment money for a home. Forgivable loans, and we're going to touch on that for a second. Matched savings programs. So, there are programs out there that if you save, $10,000 for a home, this particular program will then grant you $5,000 or $10,000 or something like that. You have to find the correct program for you. But there are programs kind of matching gift programs, and then crowdfunding. Crowdfunding among Gen Xers and millennials is really popular nowadays. I want to get back and talk about these gift programs. It's important that if you receive money from a relative or one of these other maybe grant programs, that it's understood that it's a grant or a gift, and I'll tell you why. If a family member loans you money for a down payment, then what's going to happen is the bank or the mortgage company is going to say, "Where'd you get that money from?" And you're going to say, "Oh, well, my brother's independently wealthy, and he loaned me the money." First of all, I'm wondering why your brother, who's independently wealthy, didn't just give you the money, but that's another story. So my brother, who's independently wealthy, loaned me the money. Well, then the bank or mortgage company is going to expect you to have to pay that money back. Okay. So unless it's a gift to you that you don't have to pay back, then it doesn't kind of show up on your credit history, and your mortgage company or your bank is not going to hold that against you. So these things have to. So the gifts from relatives or friends, some of the grant money from professional societies, forgivable loans, those types of things have to be understood that they're not really a loan, they're really a gift, and that doesn't then affect your credit history. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions about where to get funding or money for either first-time home buyers or for any of us again, please contact the Rose Realty team. We're here to help you. And so we've worked with a lot of great lenders who can give you further insights into where to get some of these matching money or these Texas state loan programs. We work with a lot of great lenders, and they can give you a lot of information. Again, next week we're going to talk about the home buying process and what that's all about. So if you either haven't been in the home buying process for, let's say, since 2008, so let's say the last 12 to 15 years, it's changed a lot, and so this will benefit you. If you've got a family member, daughter, whatnot, brother, brother, son or daughter or somebody who's looking to buy that first-time home, next week would also be an important week for them to watch and to tune in. Also watch, please, Wednesday for my my market update for the North Texas real estate market. That my Wednesday vlog comes out on Wednesday, naturally. When else would it come out, right? Okay, so I hope you guys are safe out there. Please be safe. Do social distancing as Texas starts to open up. There's a lot of concern that the number of cases will start to expand. So be careful out there. Don't you be one of the cases. This is Steve DePoe from the Rose Realty team. I'm going to bounce.